Hello YouTube. I know it's been a long time, but I've been busy. And so I am back with a layout share of layouts that I've done basically since the last time I did one of these videos. So one of the things I did is I went to Arizona and I visited one of my friends, and there were three of us, and we had a really fun time, and we got a lot of scrapping done, and I got to cross state lines. It was great. So I'm going to share a ton of layouts, as these are all the layouts that I've done since the last video. And so here we go. I did this one here. This is part of the whole thing that I did when I went to Arizona. And it's me dressed like Pocahontas. And it was at Tusker House in Disney World. And Goofy was so excited to see that I was dressed like Pocahontas. So that was really fun. I don't know the whole story. And that's kind of what the journaling is about, is not knowing the whole story, but he fanboyed, I guess, really hard. And it was really cute. It was super memorable, and I had a wonderful time. The food's also very good. This is my friends and I. There's a local scrapbook store here in Las Vegas called the Paper Bunny, and we would get together about once a month for movie crops. We haven't done that, unfortunately, for quite a while, but I did this layout. I'm not sure what to call it or how to do the journaling, so there's that. Next up is this layout, which is from our first trip to Disney World, meeting Pluto and Goofy in Dinoland, USA. Here is another Disney World layout done from our first trip, and it's all about great moments in history with the Muppets. It's a pretty simple layout. I wish, like if I could right now do a product wish, it would be that there was something like a title, the kind where it's like layered paper and, makes a title, and that it said great moments in history, but as far as I can tell, that doesn't exist. If it does, please leave a comment and I'll buy it instantly. Here's a layout that I did. These are Studio Calico stamps. I belong to the Studio Calico stamp kit, and these stamps are all from that kit. This cut file is from the Creative Cuts Club. And this is a layout of the Logandale Fair that we go to every single year. And it started raining, so we ducked into the tent where all of the entertainment is, and we were able to get to this guy. He was really wonderful. He was really funny. He was super talented. He did, juggling and all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. This is a layout that will actually end up going in with my other Disney layouts, because it was part of a Disneyland trip that we did. Part of the trip was that my best friend and I went to a Final Fantasy orchestra concert. And so my daughter went with my parents, who just happened to be in town in California for an aesthetics convention. And so then the next day they went to the beach with my daughter. So this is a cut file from the Creative Cuts Club. I just kind of inked it and did that. And this one is quite flimsy, because this particular piece of paper I bought at the at the American Crafts Warehouse. So I bought that at the American Crafts Warehouse. It was one of those where you get like a giant pack. There's like 25 or more sheets in a pack. So when you go to the American Crafts Warehouse sale, it happens sometimes at Tuesday morning, you get packs where there are multiples of the same piece of paper. And so that's what I bought this for, because it's super versatile and I really like it, and I've used it on a ton of layouts since I bought it. So here is this layout. It was also part of a telephone hop, and I'll actually be able to show you the one that I scrap lifted from. And these are acrylic pieces from Redefine Creative. You can find them in her shop. And my friend bought a lightsaber. My friend Kelly bought a lightsaber and was just being silly, and we had a wonderful time with it at Disneyland. This is part of the Creative Cuts Club. So I used the pirate ship and the map, both from the Creative Cuts Club, to document Disneyland. They have a Disney Play app at Disneyland, and it just gives you fun little things to do in line, so that you aren't just waiting around. And then there's a little surprise if you complete the challenge, so that's really cute. This is kind of a 2-page without meaning to be a 2-page. They're not coordinated by any stretch, but they will go next to each other. So when I went to Disneyland, Disney World, we did Bon Voyage breakfast. So it's actually going to go in this order in the album. So we went to Bon Voyage breakfast, and as you can see, I used Best Day Ever. And Christina from Redefine Creative really made fun of me for it, because she's like, I can't believe you used Best Day Ever. It was logical. It makes complete sense that I used it, because Rapunzel says Best Day Ever, and it was the best day ever. I booked Bon Voyage breakfast because it was our final day at Disney World. So Bon Voyage breakfast makes sense. And it was character dining. It's outside the parks, so we didn't need admission or anything like that. It was a wonderful time. However, what made it the best day ever, instead of the day that you leave Disney World, is that we extended our trip for 3 more days. So that ended up not being our final breakfast. My daughter was quite smitten with Flynn Rider, and I can't blame her. And so I documented that. This is a layout that I created based on a sketch from, well, it was one of the Redefine Creative Facebook Lives. I'm almost positive it was a sketch, because she did a bunch of sketches all last month. And so it's just pieces of different pattern paper and either squares or rectangles kind of down this side, and then a diagonal this way, and it's documenting getting donuts. My friend Lindsay loves donuts, and so she was coming into town, and my friend Holly and I dropped by Pink Box Donuts and picked her up some donuts. Picked us all up some donuts. This one is from this is mostly the Paprika collection. The stamping is actually from that same stamp set from Studio Calico, and I just kind of used it as a design element, and I really like how it turned out. This is documenting Taco Tuesday in 2020, when Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo were the same day, and you couldn't go out and celebrate. So I went to Cafe Rio, and I did pick up, because everything was closed. This is going to be the starting page of my COVID album. So what I'm doing for 2020 is I'm actually doing 2 sections. I'm doing the COVID section, which is things related to COVID, how COVID and all that influenced my life and how things were going. And then just things we did in 2020 that don't necessarily relate to that in any way. So this is going to be the first spot, because this, in my mind, this particular event was where it started. In my mind, that's kind of where my timeline began, was my daughter's first ever horseback riding show was canceled. So we picked out this on Wednesday, and it was canceled by Friday. This is another layout from when my friend Holly was in town. We went to the Mob Museum, and these are from Redefine Creative from the shop. They're acrylic pieces. And we did, at the Mob Museum, we did a use of force, which was really fun. Like, they give you kind of a vest and like a little fakey gun, and you run through 3 scenarios on use of force. It was a good time. Next up, same trip, was from...
I don't know that one.
Sorry, Alexa. No, Alexa. Sorry. We were rudely interrupted. This was from when my friend Holly was here. And it was us going on a local brewery tour here in Las Vegas. There are 3 breweries who are kind of right in this little spot. I don't like beer, but she does, and I like taking pictures of it. So I took the pictures, and she drank it, and I had Jones soda. Next is a layout that I did from Disneyland. We visited Oga's Cantina. My daughter fell in love with it. And so that's kind of the story of my daughter, who is 13, exclaiming, "I love bars." So that happened. It's not what I was going for, but I'm glad she really enjoyed it because she was very apprehensive about going. So I did this large picture here with washi tape on the sides. I have some Star Wars stamps that I got. No, those Star Wars stamps I borrowed from Christina. That's right. I borrowed those from Christina at Redefine Creative. So I borrowed these. I did use these, which are mine, the little stars. And then I used the paste is this, which is Luna paste. So it's very, very pretty. I'm sure you can get it at scrapbook.com or anywhere like that. It's really cool. It's like a texture paste, but you might be able to see it has shiny. So it's shiny and it gives texture. Here's another layout that I did. This will go in the COVID album, and the story about this is my daughter had outgrown all of her jeans, so we went shopping for new jeans, and then she never wore them to school because school shut. So, I mean, she wore them, just not to school. So, this particular layout and this particular layout. So we're going to talk about these together because when I went to hang out with Christina from Redefine Creative, what happened was she gave us, all 3 of us, the same set of supplies. And the challenge was then to make a layout from those supplies. And so I did this one. Also, it's obviously going to go in my COVID album. And it's about how we did not go to the Logandale Fair that year, yet last year, because it was canceled due to COVID. Now, the flip one is created by the incredible MK. MK created this one. She's not a bright color person. But, so she asked me for a picture, and I had plenty of pictures. So she asked me for a picture, and she created this incredible layout. So I am honored and excited. The layout is about my parents, who are not really tech savvy, using Zoom for the very first time, and it was for my great uncle, my mom's uncle, Ted's 100th birthday on Zoom. So she created this. It's incredible. And these 2 are both with the same supplies. Next, I used a sketch from Redefine Creative to do a layout. This will go in my COVID album, about driving down the Las Vegas Strip when it was closed. And there was no, there were very few cars, and there were no people, and it was actually pretty great, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it was, I the Las Vegas Strip better when there are tourists there. So this one, I actually still need to do, I was wondering where this went. I still need to do the journaling on it, so I'm actually going to set it aside. This was actually a picnic basket from the Creative Cuts Club. So I kind of did some rainbow embellishments here, and this is a layout about celebrating St. Patrick's Day from home. I'm going to put this over here. Oh, so actually I will come, let me bring it back real quick. So this was the picnic blanket, and then, so I turned it upside down. This is the picnic blanket, and then this was the stuff in the picnic basket. And I think it came out really cool. And I don't think you'd ever be able to tell that it was a picnic basket. This one is one that I did using the cut files from the Creative Cuts Club. And I did the black and the white, and then this paper, I forget the brand, but it's beautiful. I got a bunch of these. We went to a scrapbook store in Phoenix, and they had these, and it went really perfect. This is probably going to go in my COVID album, but I'm really not positive. It might go in my daughter's album about hobbies and that kind of thing, and horseback riding, where this was her wearing her show costume even to regular lessons because she couldn't do the show because it got canceled. This one, this paper here is from Recollections. No, DK. It's at Michael's, and they always do the paper pads. And then this was a piece of this paper here. And then these are from the Happy Planners Princess sticker collection. And we got off the Aladdin's Flying Carpet attraction, and when we did, I was just like getting stuff sorted and, you know, whatever. And then I turned around and Kaylee was playing hide and seek with Aladdin and Jasmine. It was a really special little piece of magic. So this one over here is a layout about teaching my entire work how to work from home. I trained the entire Las Vegas office. So obviously that's going to go in my COVID album. And these are from Photoplay. So Photoplay did a few different collections related to COVID. So I have this one here. And then this one here. So I used both of those, well, at least one of them, I think both, on this layout. This is just a layout about how my friends and I, my coworkers and I, would get together and play Dungeons and Dragons and have LAN parties and that kind of thing. The sketches from Redefine Creative I used. This one didn't go as planned, but I think it came out very cute. It's supposed to have like the chevron up down thing, and I'm not good at being precise about anything. So that's where we're at. It came out cute. My daughter and I went to meet the Yo Gabba Gabba characters when they were at the local mall when she was very tiny. And this one is not a layout that I created. It is a stunning layout, like I said. So we were doing the telephone hop, And this was the one that MK created. It is her style through and through, and it is unbelievably beautiful. So she got the previous person, and then we asked for permission, if since we were in the same room, if she could do hers and then just pass it on to me, and then I could pass it on to the final person, and that was fine. So she did not have 3 pictures that all went together, so she asked if I had any, and I had these of us meeting Pocahontas at Disney World, and I am dressed as Pocahontas. And she made this amazing, amazing, amazing layout. This layout is a little mixed media, a little bit messy stuff on the background. And then these stamps are from, so this is not a stamp, this is a Project Life card that I've had since the dawn of time, I'm certain. And then the stamp, no, not this one and this one, those stamps come from Studio Calico, from the kit, the stamp kit. Here's one that some of these I may have already shared, so forgive me if you get double. So I used a cut file here, I believe it is Paige Evans, and this is a Disney Halloween collection, even though it's not overly Disney, but it's very cute. And I shared here a picture of the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party that we went to, and my daughter meeting Minnie in her super cute witch costume. This one is another Disney layout. I finished the journaling finally, and it's about my friend Jeff and I meeting all by ourselves. We were walking through a rope drop at Disneyland, and we were just walking across the bridge. We're gonna go to Hyperspace Mountain, and a cast member called across and said, "You should come meet Tinkerbell." And we were a little apprehensive. We didn't know. And they're like, "Come on, there's nobody here." And so fine. And so we found our way over there, and we got a private, there was no one there. It was really magical time, all by ourselves, no rush, with Tinkerbell. This is a layout that I created about the start of my daughter doing horseback riding. This was the very first lesson that she ever took. Unfortunately, it was all the way across town. It took me about an hour. So from work, I had to leave work, come home, pick up my daughter. I work all the way across town as well. So I had to come all the way across town, pick up my daughter from school, then drive all the way past where I work. So it was about an hour drive. And then after the lesson, drive home. And I thought, this isn't working. I cannot do this every week. There's just no way. So that's when I went to search out someone else for lessons, and that's where I found Elisa, and we've been with her ever since. This is my daughter's first love, Elvis. Cute little pony. And then this one is kind of the companion piece to that COVID album picture. So it's from the same instance, but they will actually go in different albums. This one will go in Kaylee's hobby album, about her and her working really hard to get into this show, and how getting into horse shows was really something she'd strived for this whole time. That's all she wanted to do, is get to the horse shows. And so this is the story of that, as well as us buying the outfit for the show. This is a layout that I did that will go into an album about my trip to Scotland, which I took in 2016. And this is the meal that we ate before we left at the airport. This layout is called Golden Tiki. My friend Heather came to visit, so a group of us went out. She visited from London, so a group of us went out to a local tiki restaurant called the Golden Tiki, bar called the Golden Tiki, which I highly recommend. Good food, good drinks. It's great. This one is inspired by Redefine Creative. One of the lives that she did involves string art. Do you remember that when you were a kid? Is you take the string and you put it in paint and then you put it on the paper and then you put another piece of paper on and then you pull it. And that's what I created as this background. And then this is a cut file, obviously, with cello. This is a stamp from Studio Calico. And it's just documenting the concert of a group called Apocalyptica. So it's 4 guys and they all play cello and they do Metallica covers and really like rockin' kind of music. They headbang during playing it. It's a good time and I recommend you checking it out. So there, that is the concert ticket as well for Apocalyptica. This here was from my daughter's 1st grade. I used, I believe it's photoplay. I could be wrong, for this to document the back to school picnic in 1st grade. Here's another Disney layout. I purchased these cut files, and this is Chamill, and this is Chamill, that is about Dino Land USA and Disney World, and my daughter won a very cute little blue dinosaur. This is going to be in my 2020 album, but not in the COVID side. So my friends and I got to go desserts from a local patisserie and had a lovely tea and cake lunch. It was lovely. This was created because part of it was that I wanted to document more or all of my trip to my friend Stephanie's wedding. And so this was the day after the wedding, the morning after the wedding. My friend Danielle and I, who you saw before, we were at Scandia. We went to, in Victorville, there was a place called the Mile High Cafe. And so we had breakfast there, and part of the Scrap Gals, they did I think it was a birthday celebration thing, and I had to stitch on a layout, which I hate. So I did that. I used a stamp from Studio Calico. This is going to go in my COVID album about the first time we ever went out. The casinos opened back up. We went to the Bellagio garden. However, it was a very uncomfortable experience. No one was respecting social distancing. Masks were kind of and so it's about that experience. But yeah, seeing the Hello Kitty stuff was very cute. Seeing all the flowers at the Bellagio is always really wonderful. You know, it was very surreal to see the cafe completely empty, but I'm glad I did it. This was another Scrap Gals challenge, which was to use song lyrics. So this is a wonderful person and fun singer. His name is Voltaire. And it was the last concert that I went to see before everything shut down. And one of his songs includes the lyric death, death, devil, devil, evil, evil, evil songs. Evil, evil songs. So that's what I did. I stamped these. I believe that Alpha is from Studio Calico. Use some washi. Again, I tried here with the, maybe this was, I think this might have been the one that I did for the Scrap Gals, if I'm being honest. Okay, well, one of them is. And I hand stitched this from one of the Amy Tan templates. Same with the other one. And I'm telling the story about how I won free Islands burgers for a year. So this is a story about how 2 years ago, so 2019, it was raining like crazy. So every year for Thanksgiving, we go to Cracker Barrel. And at Cracker Barrel, my dad and my daughter play checkers together using this. We actually ended up buying one year. And this is just the insert that is in the, it comes in a bag, and this is like the advertisement insert on top. And this year they did not get to do that because it was pouring rain. So the gift shop at Cracker Barrel was packed. It was absolutely packed. And so they just didn't get the opportunity. So instead they came home and they played at home. This one is a rare layout in which I redid a layout. Wasn't my favorite before. I didn't like how it looked. Every time I saw it in my album, it just was not what I was going for, and so I decided to redo it. And I'm very happy that I did. I kept some elements. So this packaging technique, very similar to what was on the other one. I used a bunch of the little embellishment things that were already on there. Kept that. Kept the title of Ice Queen. And this is my friend Holly. And she came here one year. And we went to the ice skating rink that they have on where the pool usually is at the Cosmopolitan. And she tried to do a trick and sprained her wrist. She hurt herself. She hurt herself. And that's exactly who she is. And I love that about her, that she will try anything. And sometimes she hurts herself doing it. But I'm beyond happy with the way that this came out as compared to the original. This one I created as part of, that's what this one was. So everybody had to scrapbook the same picture, like, but you know, for fake. I just put it over, which is why this is kind of cut off. But anyway, so it actually worked out. But and then with the same picture, obviously not being able to discern from the picture which was which and who did what, then it was the job of a bunch of people to guess who the scrapper was. So this is Redwood Creek Challenge Trail that we did at Disney's California Adventure when my daughter, that was her first trip. And the papers are Heidi Swap. This is just a fun little layout, just cause I just wanted to, and everything fit. Which was that we went out for IHOP breakfast, and there was a balloon, someone there making balloon animals, and he made my daughter a penguin, and that's the story. I like how it came out. It looks super cute. It's not an important story, it's just fun. There's this one using Chamill. These papers are from Chamill. And it's documenting going to and staying at the Art of Animation. And my daughter was super excited. She said, if we get the Lion King room, I'm going to freak out. And we got the Lion King room, so it was perfect. This will go in the Easter, I don't know. So these stamps are from Studio Calico, from the same stamp set as the layout from the Logandale Fair and from those sunbursts that I put on the Cinco de Mayo page. And it rained. It never rains here. And it rained on Easter like crazy. And it was the last rain we had then for, I believe it was 120 days after that. It might have been longer than that. So I don't know if this is going to go in the Easter with my Easter layouts in the 2020 album. I'm not sure. So probably though with the Easter. This is another layout from my friend Stephanie's wedding. This is my friend Stephanie. She does hoop. And so she performed with her hoop at her wedding. And so I used this cut file from the Creative Cuts Club. I used this from Chamill, which is actually a digital from AC Digitals that I printed on photo paper and then fussy cut. And then this right here was part of the neon kit from Creative Cuts Club. Just some twine and little neon reinforcers. Here's a layout that I did about trying out the really cute Pixar treats at the Pizza Planet in Disney World. This is a macaron, and this is like a pudding. I actually believe both of these things are still there. So I will probably have to eat them again when we're there. This is just a random layout about me and my love of Disney bounding. And this is a layout that I did. One of the challenges for the Scrap Gals was to use labels, and so I put them all down the side. I used a variety of different stamps that I have, and then I talked about something that has taken me a very long time to contend with, and that is being a poser. So when I was growing up, when I was in high school and junior high school and all that stuff, one of the biggest things was being called a poser. So if it was that you liked a band and you wore the t-shirt, if you wore the t-shirt of a band, you had better be a super fan. Like super duper fan. You have to be able to pass the quiz. You had to have seen him in concert. You had to do all this stuff to prove that you were worthy enough to wear this t-shirt. And so as a result, I never wore the t-shirt. I never bought the t-shirt of any of the bands I liked, really, with the exception of Bad Religion. I never owned a band t-shirt. And that's one that I purchased I purchased the Bad Religion shirt at the concert. These are from Hot Topic, and I bought them and I wear them. I have seen Green Day in concert many, many moons ago, and I've never seen Nirvana in concert. By the time I was in the concert going age, Kurt Cobain had already died. So, but I like Nirvana. I can't tell you all kinds of crazy trivia. I can't do any of that kind of stuff. Billy Joe is the only one that I can name the band. Kurt Cobain is the only person I can name that's in the band. But I like the music and I'm over it and I'm wearing the t-shirts. So this is the giant stack of layouts that I'm sharing with you today. All done. And now they're gonna go in albums. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry that it was terribly long and I hope I didn't bore you too much. And I will see you whenever I see you. Bye.